Hey there, everybody. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Here at TCM today, we've turned our programming over to 4 of our biggest fans. So far, we've met fans from New York, Missouri, New Jersey, and next we cross the northern border into Canada. First for us, welcome to Steve Zioki of Kitchener, Canada. Steve, welcome.
Hey, thank you very much. It's an honor to meet you and to be here.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say. Ontario, right? Like about 100 miles from or so from Toronto?
Actually, more like 100 kilometers, about 45 minutes west of Toronto. So that would be like 60 miles.
How long have you been a classic movie fan?
I'd say since I've started watching movies at 5 years old, but I went on a bit of a hiatus, and the last 6 years I really made up for lost time by watching your channel nonstop.
Who got you into movies at such a young age?
My parents. And it's funny that they don't even watch classic movies now, and I do, but they had me watch The Ten Commandments and Wizard of Oz and many of the musicals and family programs from long ago.
I'm told you have an extensive list of films. Is that a list of your favorites?
Yes.
So, first of all, what's number 1 on your list?
Well, right now, it was previously all a tie for number 1 because I just feel if it makes the list, I can't really rate them against each other like an AFI Top 100.
Oh, that's a great... I don't even want you to go on. That's such a good answer, I'm going to steal it.
Okay.
But the Defiant Ones, the movie you picked today, that is on the list, right?
Yes, and it's now a tie for second place, to be honest, and that's number 1. So the rest of the list, it's still an equal list, but it's a tie for second behind the Defiant Ones as far as I'm concerned because it got me here.
Oh, all right, good. All right, I like that answer, too. Your answers just keep getting better and better. What about the Defiant Ones drew you in when you first saw it?
I love adventure movies, and it's an adventure that gets kicked off very early on. And as it is my favorite genre and a great example of one, that would be the main thing. It is a message movie, and the more I watched it and the older I got, the more I appreciated that aspect of it. But at first, it just drew me in because of its great adventure by 2 guys chained together.
You mentioned that it's a message movie. The director, producer, Stanley Kramer, that's what he did, constantly sort of pushing the envelope. So was you, after the first time you saw it and appreciated it as an adventure, then later you realized that this is an important movie?
Yes, it wasn't lost on me the first time either, but I've come to appreciate that aspect of it more as I look back to what it was like back then. And although it seemed ahead of its time in some aspects because of that, although also long overdue in other respects, albeit better late than never.
We're going to watch the movie now, Steve, and when we come back, we'll talk about who Stanley Kramer's first choice was to play Tony Curtis's role. It's an interesting choice. So here we go. Here's the film from 1958, a powerful film. Tony Curtis, Sidney Poitier, The Defiant Ones. Hey, everybody. I'm rejoined now by one of our TCM fans, Steve Zioki, to talk about why he picked The Defiant Ones. Welcome back, Steve.
Thank you very much.
So, do you try to get friends of yours into classic movies? Are you like a classic movie recruiter?
Definitely. I have friends come over often to practice foosball, and as TCM is locked onto my TV, I've gotten a few friends into them and surprised many people with how good the older classics can be.
So, Stanley Kramer ends up casting Tony Curtis and Sidney Poitier. It is now, as we look back, impossible to think about anyone else playing the roles, including Robert Urich and Carl Weathers, who, of course, starred in the remake. But Stanley Kramer wanted Marlon Brando for Curtis's role, and I'm just curious how you think that might have changed the film.
Well, I think Tony Curtis did a wonderful job, and as a first-generation North American to Hungarian parents like he is, I have to say that. But Marlon Brando would have been definitely believable as a tough guy, perhaps a little more than Tony Curtis was. But Tony Curtis did his role very well, and Marlon Brando, as far as I'm concerned, owned the 50s anyways, and that ending we just witnessed segued Sidney Poitier into owning the 60s. So I think it was cast quite well.
Yeah, I agree. I like the idea that the problem that Kramer had with Tony Curtis is that he was too good looking, and that somehow he was going to solve that problem by casting Marlon Brando. So Steve, TCM in just a few days will turn 21 years old. Do you remember your first exposure to TCM?
Yes, my friend Lori lent me a movie she bought from the TCM shop, The Petrified Forest.
Oh, nice.
And I went to her place and watched a few movies, and when I got home, it started the last 5 to 6 years of nonstop viewing, and now I'm getting pink pie pieces in Trivial Pursuit right away because I've been educated very well in only the last 5 or 6 years.
All right, well, do me a favor and thank Lori. We appreciate it enormously. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
That does it for the latest installment of Fan Favorites. We look forward to doing it again and doing it soon. Coming up next, the film that earned Ellen Burstyn the Academy Award for Best Actress. It's this week's edition of The Essentials with Robert Osborne and Sally Field, and that is starting in just a few minutes.